What's up guys, it's Justin here. I'm just doing a quick live stream today to talk about a very important topic, which is something you need to consider before you open another bootcamp, a facility, a unit or a studio. And this is something I've been talking about today on a bunch of mentoring calls I've been doing with fit pros all across the UK and the US. And this has been very important because a lot of fit pros are wasting tens of thousands of pounds opening up brand new locations and refurbishing and things like that. And basically they put themselves well into debt before they even start making any money. And stats actually show that the 74% of small businesses fail because they attempted to scale too quickly. That's the exact words from the official report. I can't remember where the report was from, but it was a real study done. 74% of businesses fail because they attempt to scale too quickly. And attempted to scale too quickly literally means they invested hefty sums of money into expanding before they were even ready. They couldn't recover those costs and they went, out of business essentially. So before I move on with this, guys, just check the link you'll see in the text above below. You can go to fbbmentor.com right now. We're giving away a brand new service, which is a business diagnostic. So for just £97, you'll see that we're able to work with you one-on-one. We can evaluate exactly the opportunities and threats to your business right now, whether it's in terms of marketing, sales, your offer, your systems, your finance, your team, whatever it might be. And we will create for you a customized 6-month business plan. And then we'll get on the phone with you and deliver a mentoring session one-on-one and walk you through exactly what to do for that next 6 months. So you have a plan in place to grow your revenue, boost your profits, and run a more sustainable business. You can check that out in the comments. So I was just on a call today, going back to this topic. I was on a couple of calls today actually. This came up twice in my calls, which is why I thought I'd share it with you guys. And traditionally what you would do, and what I've done in the past, is you look for a new unit. Either you're going out for the first time, or maybe you're expanding from one successful location to another. And you look for a good unit, a warehouse, a commercial unit, industrial block, whatever it might be. And you might end up, like I've done in the past, shelling out 20, 30, 40,000 pounds or more to, put all the stuff in place, get all the flooring, get the equipment brought in, build in bathrooms, put the changing rooms in, sort out all the sewage and the pipes and the heating and all that stuff. And that's what generally happens when you take a fresh facility or unit and you refurbish it into a fitness facility or a transformation center. The problem though is twofold. Number one, this is getting increasingly expensive and hard to do. And that's because so many companies have done this now, especially CrossFit. They've taken up so many of these industrial units when that was the big trend, in the last 5 to 10 years. And because so many of these companies have now folded and gone under, they're in a financial mess. They leave. They just put a padlock on the door. And the problem is then the landlords of these places, they have to go back, and the landlord has to spend the money to change, to strip the floors, get rid of the equipment, and turn it back into a traditional warehouse if they want to rent it out again to logistics companies or whatever else. So a lot of landlords now are getting pretty sick of this, and what's happening is it's now getting increasingly harder in many parts of the UK to get planning permission to open a fitness club or a gym in one of these type of units. And we've seen that across the board because so many companies are setting up and folding and costing the landlords money. Planning permission is getting harder and harder to come by, right? The other thing to think about though is that in this time, in the last 5 to 7 years, we've had a huge boom of PTs going self-employed, opening boot camps, units, facilities. It's guys like myself who've been doing that. Also, many of the fit pros who've been mentored by me over the last 5 years, they've been doing this too. And what you'll find is there's been more than ever a huge increase of people setting up studios and going self-employed. they put all their money into these facilities. The problem is, unless those fit pros are getting mentored, by myself or someone that knows about business, a lot of these guys, most of them are all failing miserably. So there's so many units and studios around you in your area right now that have all the kit, that have all the flooring, that have a small client base even. It's all set up, they have the planning permission, it's all in place. But the problem is the business owner, the PT running it, is probably not making any profit, is struggling to pay themselves. They are, probably in a lot of debt that they've accumulated, personal debt to get the company, to pay off everything. They don't know how to get any leads consistently. They don't know how to grow. They can't lead a team. They don't have the mindset to be an entrepreneur. And they're just literally on the verge of wanting to throw it all in and go and get a 9-to-5 job, right? This is the reality for so many fit pros. It's probably the reality for many of you watching this. Okay, and that's how it is. That's the reality of it. But if you're in a position where you're already making 5, 10, 15, 20K a month or more, and you are very clear, you have a good service, you know it sells, and you're just ready to expand to another location or to a brand new location, then what I would encourage you to think about is potentially acquiring or merging or collaborating with many of the existing PTs and fit pros who have these studios, have invested money into these studios, but just can't run them or make them profitable. It's going to be the easiest, fastest, and cheapest way for you to actually approach these fit pros and say, hey, I'm looking to set up in the area, I'm a fitness entrepreneur, I've seen your unit though, I've come across what you're doing here, and out of respect, I just wanted to approach you first and ask you, have you ever thought about selling? Have you ever thought about maybe a collaboration or something to share the costs and boost the revenues? Have you ever thought about that? And a lot of them probably haven't, right? Because they know that they don't really have a valuable business. Their business is worth nothing because really it's just a job. You couldn't buy the business off them because if you did, then, if they left, there wouldn't really be anything. So their business is worth technically nothing. And so they'll probably be very interested in hearing what you have to say because they're looking at all options to make money and get this liability off their hands right now. Their business is a liability to them. It's costing them 60 hours a week. They're going into stress, they're going into debt, and they don't know what to do to get out of it. This business has trapped them, right? They put so much money, sweat, and time into it, but don't know how to make it profitable or don't know how to get more free time. It's killing them. So if you propose this to say, hey, let's explore some options together, you can take them for a coffee and you can outline a plan. And this is what we're doing right now to absorb and take over other units. And I've got many Fit Pro clients doing this too, to successfully acquire multiple gyms in their area, literally within a couple of months. And we can work out something with the business owner where maybe it's a case if they're ready to quit, if they're ready to leave, we can give them something as a goodwill amount, paid over an extended period of time, to take the limited assets they have off their hands, take their equipment off them, take their customer list, and then our logo goes in the door. And they walk away and they can retire, they can get a 9-to-5 job, they can do whatever they like. In some cases, maybe the trainer working there you think they're a great trainer and they just want to coach people. They don't want to be a business owner. They don't want to handle taxes and insurances. And they've realized that now, that they're in over their heads. All they want to do is something they love, which is coach people and not work for an asshole, basically. So you might be able to provide that value to them as well. And you might say something like, hey, we've evaluated the business and the assets and, it's not really worth that much. The equipment is maybe worth 3K after depreciation. You've got a customer list of 50 people, which is kind of valuable maybe. But other than that, there's not really probably more than $5,000 of purchasable assets here. So after the customer list and the equipment, there's probably not much else they have that you couldn't just create for yourself. But maybe you think that they're a good asset. You think, hey, you know what? I could buy this. I could give you £5,000 and take the equipment, take over the lease, and keep your client list. but maybe you think that they're the assets. You know what? I think you're a good coach though. I think you have the potential to coach clients here and also manage the place, which you've kind of been doing, but you had all these other things on your hands like marketing and sales and finances and taxes and all the rest of it. What if I'll give you £4,000 or £5,000 for the assets of the company, but also I'll give you, for example, £4,000 or £5,000 as a salary guaranteed over the next 5 months. So you'll get 5k today for the purchasable assets, the customer list and the equipment, and to change over the lease with the landlord in my name. And also then maybe I'll give you £5,000, which is a guaranteed £1,000 a month salary over the next 5 months. Right, and you'll only have to train people and do a bit of management. You'll be under our supervision, we'll mentor you, we'll help you, but we'll just take control of the company essentially. It'll be our company, it'll be our assets, and you get to work for us. You get a solid salary plus bonuses, and you know what? If they make £1,000 a month plus 500 in bonuses for client retention and running a tight ship, then they're probably taking home more doing that than they're probably taking home on their own right now. Or at least pound for pound. I mean, right now they're probably working 60 hours a week and taking £1,000 a month. Whereas for you, in this arrangement, they could earn $1,500 a month for only working 30 hours a week without all the stress of the business stuff. What's that worth to them? Probably a lot more than just having the ego of having to own the business. And this is the kind of thing we're doing, and this is the kind of thing that Fit Pros and our mentorship are doing too, because now is the time. Now is the time. There's a recession on the horizon. It's going to get even harder for these small studio owners who've got in over their heads. They've been struggling for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and it's crunch time for them. They can either go back to a 9-to-5 job that they hate, or you could come in there, help them out with their debts, give them a little bit of money, a small investment to take things over, and maybe even give them a stable job, working for a cool person such as yourself. That will be a lifeline. It's a win for you, it's a win for them, and it's a win for the clients who keep getting to use the service that they wouldn't otherwise if you had to close the door and go under, and those clients are left to go out in the market on their own. It's a win-win-win. You know, it's a win for the landlord too, because the landlord now can keep the lease going and actually make money on that property. So it's win-win-win-win, right? For suppliers, for you, for the partner, for the clients. And whenever more people win in a deal, the better it always goes. So that's just something to consider. Before you go out there and you're thinking of budgeting 30, 50 grand to get a load of new equipment and flooring and refurb a warehouse. Instead, I encourage you to look at the model of acquiring. It's growth by acquisition. And this is something we've been doing for a long time and teaching Fit Pros to do the same. If you'd like more help on this, or you'd like to see how this might work as part of your business model, check out the link above, send me a message, or drop a comment below to ask further questions, and we can start a discussion about this. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoy your day. Have a productive day. Keep kicking ass, keep growing your business, and I will see you guys very, very soon.